Playing great basketball.
Defender to the master, Jason Tatum.
Be covering pre and post game back on this channel.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to a little playoff preview. Celtics Talk Weekly Playoff Preview. I'm your host, Rob Tan. Join with me is my co-host, Justin Lowe. Joining us shortly will be Jack Bienvenu. And guys, I'm excited, right, Justin? It's the playoff time. We're finally done with the long 82 games, those pointless games against the Wizards and the Magic and the Rockets and the Jazz. Those are behind us. The Celtics go into the NBA playoffs as the 2 seed. However, before I get started, I'm going to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's live stream, Sharps. Sharps is an awesome social media platform for sports bettors. Now that sports betting is now legal in Massachusetts, download Sharps. You can connect and follow your friends and track your bets. You can follow me on there. Download Sharps. Use promo code ROB C078. It will be in the description. To when you download Sharps, follow me on there. We could talk sports, talk betting. It's a lot of fun. With the playoffs coming around, there's going to be a lot to bet on in the NBA. If you want to know what I have today I'm rocking with the Hawks money line, and I got T-Wolves plus 11 against the Lakers. So go download Sharps there. We love them over there. And yeah, let's hop into this playoff preview as Jack joins us. How we doing, Jack?
How we doing, fellas?
Good. All right, guys. So Celtics going as the 2 seed, right? And you just joined us as we got started. Let's bring up the bracket here. It's set. I'm so pumped. I'm going to be so excited this whole live stream. So we play the winner of the matchup tonight, which this live stream will bring you right into that matchup. Heat Hawks. Heat obviously 7th seed. They're at home. Hawks on the road. I believe the Hawks are 41-41. The Heat are 43-39, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, let's start right there. Let's start with the Heat and the Hawks. Season series 2-2 for against the Heat. We were 3-0 against Atlanta. So we host the winner. Justin, start us off. Who you got? What you think? Let me hear your predictions here.
Who I got or who I want? Because who I got,
who you got?
Look,
Who you
I'm
got?
gonna be honest with you. I like Miami's chances at home. Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. These guys are made for this moment. There is no doubt though that this Miami team is significantly less from what we saw last year, from what the Celtics saw in the conference finals last year. A big piece, and people are not talking about this, but a big piece that they don't have anymore is PJ Tucker. That was a big piece for the Miami Heat. That was a big time defensive presence that they had on that team that they don't have anymore. I'd love to see. Okay, obviously, easier answer would be Atlanta. But yeah. I wouldn't, Rob, you and I were talking earlier. I wouldn't hate either of these two teams. I wouldn't think that. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and discredit these two NBA teams and, what they've accomplished, in the regular season and fighting to get to the point that they're at. But at the same time, aren't the Celtics supposed to be one of the best teams in the NBA? What was the narrative last year, Rob, when we were watching the play-in? Fear Brooklyn, fear Brooklyn. Now it's fear Miami. What happened last year to Brooklyn? They got swept. Not even a win. Not even one game won. So I'd love to see the Hawks. Obviously, I think it's going to be Miami, though. But either way, Jack, I'm okay with either one of these two teams. I'm comfortable, and I think the Celtics, no matter what, are going to bring their A game round one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the Celtics, no matter who they play, I think, who knows, maybe Jimmy Butler has, one of those games he always tends to have against us where he just takes over and he just says, screw you guys, we are not losing this game. I don't care what happened, we're not losing. So I can see this Heat maybe getting a game and us winning, giving him a little gentleman sweep, but I'm not scared of either team. I'm seeing like Celtics in 6, Celtics in 7. On social media. It's like, I don't know what people have been watching all year, to be honest with you.
Right.
This isn't the same Heat team we saw last year, like you said, Justin. I mean, you brought up a great point with PJ Tucker. I mean, you can make fun of him all you want, but say he only shoots corner threes, but he brings a lot of defense to these teams. I mean, you saw he won one, and he won one. Did he win one in Milwaukee?
I don't think he was with
PJ?
Milwaukee then. Was he with Milwaukee then? He might have.
PJ won it with the Bucks, went to Miami,
Yeah.
and then went to Philly.
Yeah, so he's really made an
We're
impact in some big some teams here. So I mean, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you touched up on, Justin.
Yeah, I'm like, it's kind of deja vu to last year where it was like, oh my God, the Nets, that's going to be such a good series, 7 games. KD, Kyrie, their transcendent talents, right? Whatever it was this big talked about thing was that series was. I do think that series was closer than 4 games last year. Each game kind of came down to the wire. I think if we do see Miami, they're better coached and I think a little bit more battle tested than that Brooklyn team was in terms of I think they don't lose that game 3 at home in Brooklyn where we kind of stole that game from them. So I think it goes 5 against the Heat. I think we could sweep the Hawks. I just don't know if they match up well enough against us. But on the other side of it, despite how great Jimmy Butler is in the playoffs and, you know, how great of a coach Eric Spoelstra is, this Heat team is bottom 5 offense. They ranked 27th in 3-point percentage, despite being top 10 in 3-point attempted. They're not a great offensive rebounding team. They were 29th, actually. They're a terrible, defensive rebounding team. They were bad at defensive reboundings in total. Their rebounding was bottom half of the league. So they really, really did struggle. Miami did on the boards. I think we present a bigger matchup there and upper hand. Assist-wise, I'm trying to go through everything. Assist Miami was, where were the Heat? I don't even know if I can find them right now. I'm looking. Oh, 25th. Yeah. So like they ranked offensively, they ranked in the bottom half of the league at everything. It was that defense that kind of took them to the playoffs. Boston, they present a really tough matchup offensively and defensively for either team. I don't agree with what Perkins said. Neither team is a threat. I think maybe if the Celtics don't bring their A game against the Heat, they could be what you call like series extenders, where they just like push it to 6 games. Maybe don't see that happening. But that definitely keep an eye on that game. I'm watching it. I'm hoping the Hawks win because, like I said, I'd prefer to see Atlanta. But if Miami wins, honestly, I think it could be a good like warm up.
Did the Hawks win did the Hawks win or lose their last game?
They lost their last game, which is like...
Oh, no, they're winning.
They lost their last game.
They're so mid that they're going to win tonight. That's
they're winning
mid
tonight, man.
But
and it's like, I know how mid they are, but my thing with the Celtics, it's like they 1,000,000% should sweep Atlanta, but I just have this feeling when we're up 3-0, we're going to drop that game 4. I already know that's
Boston.
that's such a Celtics thing to do. So I mean, I'm not worried about either team, but obviously I think Atlanta would just be the much easier team to deal with round 1. I'd rather even if it's still even if they're both 5-game series, I feel like you just got to play Miami much harder. You have to be a lot more physical with them. You just got to exert a lot more energy. I feel like playing them.
Yeah, Miami definitely is it's kind of the opposite where like Atlanta is not a good defensive team and they're a solid offensive team, and then Miami's a horrendous offensive team and a very solid defensive team. Active hands, dive on the 50-50 balls. But the thing is, Kendrick Perkins, 2008 champion with the Boston Celtics. 1 week, Jason Tatum's the MVP. The next week, him and Jaylen Brown can't play together. 1 week, the Boston Celtics are the best team in the entire NBA historically. The next week, it's a Miami first-round upset. Major upset alert, Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah,
I have never seen a former NBA player, a former athlete, celebrity, reporter, whatever you want to call him, with such a high platform, look for so many views, so many clicks. I mean, this guy has a new MVP every week. Ja Morant has a good game. He's the MVP. 24 hours later, Jason Tatum has an unbelievable game. He's the MVP. Like, this guy is up and down and all over the place. I take nothing he says seriously. I really cannot stand Kendrick Perkins after what he just said. I mean, what threat is Miami to Boston? Eric Spoelstra, I get it, one of the greatest coaches ever. But other than that, what does Boston go like tonight? If Miami wins, we'll post depth charts. Boston has Miami beat in every facet of the depth chart. Maybe our power forward if Al starts and Jimmy Butler is their starting power forward. But other than that, it's not even close.
Well, I don't think Al. I don't think Al was probably going to be playing center for us, unless we decide to shake things up against Milwaukee or Philly. I think first round Rob will be coming off the bench. So I don't even see. Yeah, I mean, like Atlanta's was offensively pretty damn good this year. They ranked third in points scoring per game. Their 3-point percentage was in the top half, bottom half of the league. I mean, yeah, it's just like, listen, the way I look at it is in the NBA, it's not the 2013 West where you have 50-win teams playing at the 7th seed. These teams have been struggling all year, and when you go through the play-in and you run into these top dogs out east, like Milwaukee and Boston, and really even Philadelphia, I don't think there's really like maybe a game. They get a game each, but let's kind of move on to some other series and rounds because I want to get through all of them. This live stream before the game tip off. So let's talk about that little let's say we're going off seeding. So 7 seed wins. We see Miami. Hawks play winner of Bulls Raptors. Quickly, guys, who you got? Bulls or Raptors? Because this is kind of irrelevant.
I'm taking the Bulls probably. I don't know. The Raptors kind of suck.
Yeah.
So I would say the Bulls, but the atmosphere of playoff basketball in Toronto, I'm going
That's
Toronto.
True.
I'm going Toronto for this, even though none of these players want to play for Nick Nurse anymore.
Yeah, that's facts. He's like, I don't know what his problem is.
So we'd have Hawks. I go Bulls, so majority rules, Justin. So essentially,
Yep,
so Hawks Bulls. In that matchup, that's tough. I'm gonna sit here and say, Atlanta. I don't think a 10 seed finds a way to get into the playoffs. That's just me.
Could be the year.
You know what, dude? It's playing Pat Bev. Bulls aren't losing.
That's right.
That's true. That is true.
Book it. Put Bulls to the playoffs.
I think either way, none of these 4 teams make it past either Milwaukee or Boston. Why don't we just put it there?
Yeah. All right. So let's hop into this. We'll go up now. So we're gonna go to that Philly, Brooklyn series. Let's talk about this. So again, it's kind of like these first round matchups with the top dogs in the East. I don't think they really stand a chance. I could see Philly sweeping Brooklyn. But at the same time, I can see Brooklyn stealing games 3 or maybe 1. I think Brooklyn, Mikal Bridges defensively, I like what they got going. I just think they're kind of missing that aspect. Claxton was really great in the middle of the season. He kind of came back down to earth after that trade. I love Brooklyn's depth. It's actually really funny because if this Brooklyn Nets team had like Kevin Durant on their roster with everything they have right now, I think they could be a real threat in the East, and I think they're very deep. I like what Dinwiddie does. I like what Bridges does. Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton. Who's their coach? Vaughn?
Yeah, Jacques Vaughn.
Jacques Vaughn. Yeah, so I like what he's got there, but Philly, I just think there's too much. I think they're considered a top dog.
Yeah, I think Philly in 5. I think Brooklyn puts up a solid series in terms of fight, and we talk about it. We've talked about it before, where the objective of the 6, 7, and 8 spots aren't to necessarily go out and win the series, but they're to put up a good series, put up a good fight. I think Brooklyn comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if they punch Philly in the mouth right away, kind of like what Atlanta did to Philly a couple years ago. Game 1, let them know we're here, we're not going away, and then after that, I think it's all Philly in 5.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's Philly in 5. I mean, Mikal Bridges might present some problems at first, and I can very well see the Nets winning game 1, and then the media going nuts about that. But I mean, we've seen game 1's the biggest liar in sports. I mean, we saw the Magic beat the champion Raps and get who hit the game winner that game?
DJ Augustine,
DJ Augustine. Yeah.
And then they beat Milwaukee in game 1 a year later. They beat Milwaukee in game 1.
So it's like we see these game 1 wins every year, and the Sports Center and stupid ass Omar is always posting stuff on Bleacher Report. And sorry, Omar, but if you happen to be watching this, it was, man. That dude poked fun at me relentlessly. But
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the Joel Embiid's just too much. The Nets just don't really have that guy. With all due respect to Mikal Bridges, but he's like probably a 3rd best player on the championship team, max. Yeah. And I mean, they just don't have that guy. But
yeah. So that brings us to what I think is hands down the most probably second behind that Suns Clippers series. But this Cleveland Knicks series, in my opinion, has 7 games written all over it. I think this is good enough in a normal year to be a 2nd round matchup. I love what both teams have done this year. Personally speaking, I'm going to have to roll with Cleveland. I think they just have a little much more depth. Mitchell has been there. I love their back line or front line. Oh, I'm sorry, back line. I was right. With Mobley and Jared Allen. I think their forward spot's a little weak with Isaac Okoro, but I still think he holds it down for them. And then their front court is just really difficult. And I don't know if New York can do anything about that with Mitchell and Darius Garland. However, I do think Randall, Brunson, and those guys are going to make it close. I could see the Knicks potentially squeaking this one out in 7, but I'm going to have to roll with Cleveland Cavaliers win a game 7 in Cleveland on their home court.
Yeah, and I think I'm taking the same winner as you. I'm taking Cleveland, but I think I'm taking it in 6 game. I think Donovan Mitchell is just – I believe he strides better than any other player in this series. I don't think it's really close. And I think that being said, he's just going to take the series over. And the Cavs, in my opinion, are the third biggest, third best odd team to come out of the East. I think they are better than Philly. I think they're better than any. They're the only teams that are not better than are us and Milwaukee. So, and I think Mobley is just. But they got Mobley and Allen. That's just that front court is crazy.
Something tells me that this series is not going to be as interesting as people think. I don't know what it is. Really? I think it might be Cleveland in 5 or 6. I really don't find anything interesting and too crazy about this New York Knicks team. Thibodeau is a great coach. The New York Knicks have had one hell of a year. I just don't know if it could transpire towards.
What just happened? Oh, there we go. There he is.
I'm gonna say the same thing when I talk about Denver later. I just don't know if I could trust the Knicks in the postseason. I don't think it's going to be all that crazy serious. I could be totally wrong.
I don't know, man.
I wouldn't just. I'm not saying it's going to be over in 5 or 6, but I would not be surprised if this series is not over in 5 or 6. Or it is over.
I want to see something real quick.
Remember that Atlanta and New York matchup like a year or 2 ago?
That was so much fun. I love that series. Yeah,
but everybody thought that series was guaranteed to go to 7. What did it go? 4, 5?
All right, but I do think this Knicks team has.
I'm not saying they're not different. I just don't.
Yeah, I do think they have an element, but I do agree. I think the Cavs are a dark horse. I think they really present I just think they're matchup nightmare. They are literally like the definition of just like nobody wants to play them, in my opinion.
Right.
I agree with Jack when he said they pose more of a threat than Philly does because of that starting lineup of Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen, and even Okoro. He hasn't been phenomenal, but Isaac Okoro does a solid job on defense. He's a good defender, I think, and offensively he spaces the floor, and I think they are can be a real pain in the ass. Quite frankly, I'm happier we're playing Philly in round 2 than playing that Cleveland team. I think Cleveland exerts so much energy to beat them. They play fast, they play physical, they can shoot the 3, they can guard you down low, they can guard you on the perimeter. They can really do it all. And I think if Donovan Mitchell gets hot, you're in for a long ass series. Like chasing that guy around, as good of a scorer as Donovan has been, as good of a passer he's been. Garland looks good. I love Cleveland, as you can tell.
And it's like, you can contain Donovan Mitchell, and then Darius Garland can go to just like I guess similar to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum in terms of either one of them are almost guaranteed to go off on one night. It's hard to contain both of them at the same time. One of them is bound to go off. Same thing you get down there in Cleveland. And I just don't know if any front court, not just Boston's, but any front court is going to be able to contain Jared Allen and Evan Mobley down low. But the main thing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, it hurt them last year and it hurt them at points this year, is they have to stay healthy. Their health will depend on this playoff run for them. So I do think, though, whether it's in 5, 6, or 7, I think Cleveland will edge out the Knicks.
Yeah. All right. So we got a next one. I mean, come on, Bucks versus whoever is. The thing with the weird part about the 3 seed is you have no idea you don't even have like an idea who they're like gonna play. I believe we decided on Chicago. Am I not mistaken? If I can remember correctly. So Chicago versus the Bucks, round 1. I mean, probably yeah. I mean, Bucks in 4. It's looking like Milwaukee could be without Chris Middleton. And if that's the case, I got Bucks in 5. Just because the Bulls did it last year. Bulls got a win last year. They squeaked one out. I believe it was game 3 at home in Chicago. And I believe that's what the game Middleton went down in was game 3. And then the Bucks closed it out eventually. So yeah, I'm going Bucks in 5, but honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they swept them really just wipe the floor with the Bulls.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really think it's going to be close. I mean, the Giannis has owned Chicago his entire career, and he is by far the just most dominant player in that court. And that's going to be a quick series.
I think it's over in 4 with Middleton or with Middleton or no Middleton. I think that one's undoubtedly. I think that might be the easiest series out of this whole entire playoff.
Yeah, like no question. It doesn't. Yeah. So let's move out west now, because this is where things get fun, in my opinion. We have not talked about the Western Conference on Celtics Talk Weekly all damn year, and I've been itching to talk about the West because it is the wild West this year. I mean, the play-in came into the last day. The Pelicans, who were the 7th seed 2 days before the playoffs started, fell down to the 9th seed. Things happened. All right, we're gonna go through this a little bit quicker than we do with the East in terms of play-in. We're gonna start with that 9-10 matchup. We'll do this a little bit more with more formality. Pelicans versus Thunder. Who do we have coming out of that one?
Thunder.
Thunder.
All
right, I gotta go with New Orleans. Thunder win it because of off of majority, but I think Brandon Ingram has been balling out, and I think he gets from that win. Shy has too. But all right, so let's go. So that puts Thunder plays the loser of Lakers Timberwolves, which is tonight. I mean, I got LA.
Lakers.
Minnesota is
Lakers all day.
Minnesota just seems really dysfunctional right now.
Yeah.
I do think the T-Wolves cover, though. I believe the T-Wolves cover, but that plus 11 alternate spread. If you're interested in that, go check out Sharp's little in live stream plug I got for you guys. But yeah, I think Lakers take that. All right, so that boom sets us up 9-10 or 9 versus 8, 10 versus 8. I'm honestly
taking
Thunder.
OKC. I'm
Yeah.
taking
Taking
OKC.
Lakers, really?
Wait, no,
Lakers are already in it.
Yeah, Lakers get to play the 2 seed.
Lakers are playing
OKC.
Memphis, so now it's
I know, right. I'm thinking OKC.
Okay.
Yeah.
So OKC will go to the 8 seed. Lakers play the 7 seed. We'll start at the first 1v8 this time. Nuggets versus Thunder. I love the Thunder, what they've been doing. I think they steal a game. I think Nuggets get it in 5. I like what Shea's doing, but I mean Nuggets, they're a really good defensive team. They move the ball. They don't really turn it over a lot. And I think they handle them in 5 games.
Something tells me I'm taking Nuggets in 6. I think OKC could take a couple playoff games. I do. I really do.
Shea's good. We'll see.
Why? What do you think, Jack?
I think Nuggets in 5. I think OKC sweeps a game. Maybe game 1.
Yeah, so I mean,
back in OKC.
Denver. The thing with Denver is, in my opinion, what makes them they're going to be so good in the playoffs is that they are a great passing team. They're second in the league in assists per game. They average 28.9, which I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, call it 29. And turnover wise, they fall in, let's see, I believe they rank 20th, which isn't that bad because if they averaged 0.5 less turnovers, they would be into the top 10. So they're a great passing team. Rebounding wise, they can rebound the basketball. Decent, not great. They ranked 19th at rebounding, so they're in the bottom half of the league. OKC is in that top half, and a good rebounding basketball team. If you listen to NBC Sports Boston, Scal is a true believer of this. A good rebounding basketball team is a tell on if you're a championship team or not. And I do think the Thunder. I could see the Thunder grabbing a game or 2, but I mean Nuggets, Jokic. Come on, they're playing for something bigger than a first round matchup. But let's jump into what I believe is the best matchup of the entire first round of the playoffs. I think both teams healthy is a Western Conference Finals matchup, and we're getting it in the first round, which is super, super exciting. Clippers versus Suns, 4-5. Suns being that 4 seed, Clippers being that 5 seed. No Paul George, it looks like, which really, really sucks because you never want to see a playoff series with injuries. I'm going to have to go. This is 7 games, again, written all over it for me. However, I got to go with the home team. I got to go with Phoenix. I think Durant, if Durant can stay healthy, he is just such a dominant scorer. He's been so efficient this year. I believe he started his new club, the 55, 40, and 90 club. First ever player to do it. I love D Book as their second option. Ayton, Chris Paul. I think their bench could be a little bit better. T. Ross is getting the job done for them. Josh Okogie's been solid. But over there in LA, I will say, I don't think it's Suns in 7 by a significant margin. I really do. I could see if Kawhi Leonard hits that point where he is just on another level, like we saw in that 2019 year. I could see the Clippers taking this in 7, but personally, I'm going to have to go with the home team in game 7 in this matchup. I think that it's too close to put my finger on it. I'm going to go Suns in 7.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you. I think the Suns are going to take this by a slim margin, but I think it's in 6, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close some games, but I think KD, I think he's on a mission this year, man. I think he's going off this series, dropping 35 a night, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns can surge past them in 6. And I don't know if I'm really I think the defensive matchup for KD will be big, just that matchup between Kawhi and KD. But I don't know. I haven't really seen Kawhi. I feel like I could be totally wrong, but I haven't really seen him take over a playoff series
in a while.
Really, in a while since that 2019 year.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's just like, I know it's Kawhi, but like it's been a while since we've seen that Kawhi we always talked about.
Yeah, something 6. Also, you don't know what Russell Westbrook is going to get, and I'm a big Russ fan, but some nights he's been great, other nights he's been horrible. You don't know what Russ you're going to be able to get consistently in the playoffs. You're definitely not going to get Paul George, at least in the first round. And, who knows how this Clippers team meshes. They had to throw this together at the trade deadline. They really had to go all in, but I think Suns at 6.
Yeah, the Clippers were my finals pick, actually, out of the West at the beginning of the year, but that was obviously before the Suns got KD. I think the Suns without KD are losing to the Clippers in 6, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Suns are definitely, I agree. Suns are my pick to come out of the West. I think they're the best team out West, what they have if they're healthy, but I do think Kawhi Leonard presents a great matchup for this first round. Honestly, I think, say it's Nuggets, Suns, I think the Suns deal with Denver way easier than deal with the Clippers, quite frankly.
5.
So let's jump down to the next one. All these are so interesting, I think, because here lies a 3-6 matchup, right? And I'll tell you what, if this 6 seed was any other team, not other than the Golden State Warriors, this would be the easiest pick of all time. Golden State has been god awful on the road this year. I believe they were bottom 3. Let me look.
Yeah, to like the friggin' Pistons and Rockets. They were
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, they were god awful on the road, and like it's just like, do I pick them? Do I bet against them?
I'm taking
and it's like
6.
It's like I could, on paper, everything tells me to go with Sacramento. They have been better offensively. Defensively, they haven't been better, but their offense has been historically good. They have all this momentum. They have home court. Sacramento is going to be rocking. That building is going to be rocking, right? Like it's going to be a madhouse in that building. Fox has been great. Sabonis has been great. All NBA. But yet on the other side of it lies this 6'3" point guard who just is lingering there. And something tells me that if I pick the Sacramento Kings, that damn guy, Steph Curry, Wardell Stephen Curry, is going to make me pay for it. And I don't know where to go just because of how great Steph Curry is. And I'm going to have to, off principle, I have to go with the Kings because the Kings have deserved this respect, I think. They have deserved their respect. However, the Warriors are the team to beat until someone beats them. So I got Kings in 6, but I'm going to go 7. I'll go Kings in 7.
Yeah, I was going to say closing out a series in Golden State. I don't see that. I see Golden State in 6. And look, I'm not discrediting the Sacramento Kings whatsoever. I've been very, very high on Sacramento over this last year. There's no doubt that these Sacramento Kings Supreme team is obviously historically good in terms of franchise history for Sacramento. But I don't know. I trust Golden State. I know it's weird to say. Just a year ago, they bounced us on our home court. But I feel like Golden State, they should know how to win a road game in the playoffs. This year, they couldn't even win a road game in the regular season. But if they could just win 1 out of the 2 road games in this series or 1 out of the 3 road games in this series, I think they take the series. I don't think they drop a game at home in this series. Maybe Sacramento comes in and steals one, but I don't know. I trust Golden State in this situation, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sacramento came on top, but I'm saying Golden State in 6.
Oh, jeez.
It's tougher than it should be.
I've been thinking about this all day. I've been like kind of getting my little bracket together in my head, and I've been stuck on this one and going back and forth. I mean, Steph Curry, one of the greatest winners in basketball that we've ever seen. So, I mean, anything can happen with. He could win by himself probably, but I mean, the Beam team, man, they're pretty good, and Sacramento, like you said, Rob, is going to be absolutely rocking. And no disrespect to the Warriors or anything, but I got the Kings in 7. Maybe it's because I'm a Celtics fan. Maybe it is. Maybe it's because they ruined my life. But
Oh.
anyway,
Oh my God.
the Kings are not losing a game 7 in Sacramento. The Warriors are not winning a game 7 in Sacramento.
I know you want to keep this going, Rob, but Warriors done after this year. Their dynasty over with if they go out in the first round.
No, not at all.
If they go out, I don't know.
No,
first
not
round is the
until
dynasty over.
So here's my thing with
not
Golden
until
State.
Curry retires.
I think this has been a really I agree with that, Jack. I think Curry is going to be one of those guys that is really good up until the end. I look at Golden State and they haven't lost a damn playoff series since 2000.
That's true.
That hasn't been the NBA Finals since what, 2014. So they have essentially for over a decade, every time they've been in the playoffs, they've made the finals. And that's what's holding me back. But if this Kings team is legit, if they can take care of Golden State, which I think they can, I don't think it's over. I think next year they retool in the offseason. I think, honestly, they make a big splash. They go straight for win now. I think their window is 2 more years of them being competitive. They got Draymond Green to deal with, but I still could see, in terms of winning another ring, probably not. I just think Boston and Milwaukee are going to go back and forth the next 3 years in terms of winning championships. But, however, I do think they can be a real contender out West, just because I do think the Western Conference is 3 years away from being a real competitive conference out there, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I think with Golden State is how are they going to deal with Draymond Green and all that? I get it. He's the heart and soul of the team. He's there. Marcus Smart. But after that incident, you can't tell me that didn't screw things up here in Golden State. I know it was months ago, but there's no way that's not bothering them right now. But let's talk about the last matchup in the first round. I believe we voted in the Lakers. So it'd be Lakers and Memphis, with Memphis having home court advantage. Hey, listen, I would not be surprised.
Don't say it.
I would not be surprised if the Memphis Grizzlies take care of the Lakers in 5.
Okay.
Everybody said, no, listen, everybody's saying how, the Los Angeles Lakers, which I understand, the Lakers are the best team since the NBA trade deadline, the second best team since the NBA trade deadline.
Are they really, record-wise?
17-9, the second best team. But can they, the question is, everybody says, can they stay healthy? For the Lakers, that is absolutely impossible. And even if they do, have they been together enough to go out and win?
All right, you know what? I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. I just looked at their last 25 games. That's a little fraudulent 17-8. I'm looking at who they've played. I'm going to go through all 25. I'm going to go through all 25 games because I'm getting a kick out of this. All right. Lost to Portland, win to the Pelicans, win to the Warriors, lost to win against the Mavericks, lost to Memphis by 12, win against the Thunder, lost to Minnesota, win against the Warriors, win against Memphis, win against Toronto, Knicks, Pelicans, Houston, Dallas, Orlando, Phoenix. I mean, I'm sorry, but the matchups they won against the bad teams, absolutely, but they lost against the good teams. And I don't know whoever did the scheduling out there in the NBA, but something's telling me they kind of knew where the Lakers were going to be at when it was all said and done. Obviously, got to give the Lakers their respect. 17-8 in the last 25 games. However, it's the 2 seed.
Maybe 6.
I think that's what I'm going with. I'm going 6. Yes, the Lakers have been good, but even still, who has it's just the Grizzlies have the best record out West, I believe, since I was listening to it on First Take. I want to say since November, the Memphis Grizzlies have been the best team out West. Something like that. Memphis, it's just like this idea, and it was the same thing with the goddamn Nets last year. It's like, you are a play-in team. It's going to be nearly impossible. Mind you, no team lower than the 4 seeds ever won an NBA championship, right? That's never happened, especially when there's trade deadline moves. So the Lakers, yes, they have been good since the trade deadline. Do I think maybe, there's a possibility they beat the Memphis Grizzlies? Sure, there's a possibility. However, they're not, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know what to do with these Lakers, because the odds they stay healthy through a playoff run is probably 25%. And I'm looking at their matchups. Even if they do squeak by Memphis, look at this. They have to get the winner of the Warriors and the Kings series. And I think if the Warriors beat the Kings, that means the Warriors are really rolling, and the wheels will be turning over there in Golden State. So I don't think they'll get past Golden State. And even if somehow they do get past one of those two teams, they're going to have to see a team like Phoenix or Denver or even the Clippers, who I think all of those teams are better than them. So, I mean, it's like, yes, it's LeBron James. Yes, it's Anthony Davis. If they stay healthy, can they make it interesting? I absolutely think so. However, you got to go with Memphis. And if you say the Lakers, then I really think you're crazy. And Jack, I hope you don't say the Lakers, because I'd hate to make you look crazy.
Well, I'm probably gonna look crazy. I'm going with the Lakers.
Oh,
the Lakers, they're not losing to the Grizzlies, man. AD is going, if he stays healthy, he's going to kill Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson. Dude, I mean,
kill?
Jaren Jackson is the defensive player of the year.
Gonna say,
like, come on now, John Morant.
Maybe
if anything,
John Morant.
If anything, this was probably the matchup Anthony Davis would not want. Is Jaren Jackson?
Yeah,
I mean,
come on.
I don't know, man. Maybe that. All right, that might be a little disrespectful to JJ over there, but
you called him Justin Jackson. That was disrespectful enough.
I know, Justin Jackson, but I don't know, man. I think the Lakers. They're not winning the next round, but I think I don't know. I don't know why I feel like Memphis is a little fraudulent. I don't know why I do.
Dude,
I
Memphis
laugh,
play.
Memphis.
I don't know. Yeah.
Memphis plays defense. Offense is great. I do think, you know what, the one thing I think that could be holding Memphis back, Brandon Clark, and Steven Jackson. They're both hurt.
Steven Adams.
Steven Adams. Did I call him Steven Jackson?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did. So God, I'm all messed up now.
Before that.
It's me. It's because of me.
That's Andrew Jackson, dude.
Oh my God.
Steven Jackson's the other NBA player.
Oh, who did he play for, the Pistons?
I think he.
No, he played for the Pacers. He played for the Pacers.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
Oh my God, you made me look smart there. I don't know how. But yeah, I mean, they're missing some big boys down low, and I think there's a good chance that AD has a field day. But like I said, I haven't seen the Lakers healthy since the bubble, so I have to go with Memphis in this one. So let's look at this now. Now we're in the second round, and this is going to be, it's pretty easy to remember, I think. So out east,
Bucks and
we
Cavs.
got Bucks and Cavs. This, I think, is where the Bucks, I think Milwaukee runs into, you kind of start to see they're beatable, I think, is this series. I know they're beatable. We all know they're beatable. Celtics fans know they're beatable, but I think the league will see that. I got Milwaukee in 6 games. However, I wouldn't be shocked if it went 7. But I'm going to roll with 6. Yeah, I'm going to roll with 6. I think that Donovan Mitchell and Garland, there's going to be a mismatch somewhere. Whoever Drew Holiday isn't on, there's going to be problems. I think Cleveland's big men, in particular Mobley, can stretch the floor. Allen versus Brook Lopez is going to be a great matchup. Like down low. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Cavs pull out an upset, but I don't think it's realistic. I think Giannis is too hard to beat unless you're a top dog, and I don't think I don't think Cleveland's a top dog, and I don't think Giannis gets sent home in the second round again. So I'm going to go Milwaukee in 6.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one I've been going really back and forth on because this was my pick for this matchup in the second round, and at first I was thinking Cavs in 7, but just because I think the big men are going to present a lot of problems for Milwaukee, and like you brought up, Rob, I think whoever Drew Holiday isn't on is going to go off. I don't know what they're going to do about that. I assume he'll be on Donovan, but you never know what they're going to do. But like you said, I don't think Giannis is going home in the second round again. I think last year is going to play a huge factor into this series, and I think Giannis is going to be hungrier than anybody out there. So I think the Bucks are going to be going to the
and real quick, Justin,
in 7.
Real quick before you go, Justin. I will say this: if Cleveland finds a way to beat Milwaukee, if I'm as a Celtics fan, I'll be a little nervous if Cleveland finds a way to get past Milwaukee. Cleveland gave us difficulties in that in the season series. I'll be a little like, oh shit, here we go. Cleveland, they'll be looking dangerous, but I don't think they get past them.
Yeah, I think if Cleveland gets past Milwaukee, I think we could be in a little bit of. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're a territory where we're like, hold the phone. What's happening here?
Yeah. I see where it's all coming from, but I have Milwaukee in 6, maybe even 5. I don't know. I think it does present a pretty good matchup, but I still really like Brook Lopez and his presence down low. I really like Giannis at that 4 spot. You can slot him in at the 3, and Drew Holiday, defensive player of the year. Most improved player candidate. I mean, this guy has been absolutely amazing. His problem is his consistency. He had a 50-point game, then he had a 6-point game, then he had a 30-point game. That's pretty inconsistent. And then, look, I don't know. I agree with you, Rob. I think if we do see Cleveland squeak past Milwaukee, it's like an oh shit moment, and it's like, oh god, I'd rather get sent home by Milwaukee than Cleveland, for sure. But like again, we lost to Cleveland in 2 of our losses. 3 of our losses to Cleveland were all overtime games. In one of them we were extremely shorthanded. So not to throw out excuses, but the Celtics can hang with the Cavaliers, but we'll see.
Do you know my thing with Boston is this postseason? I want to see the best of the best because I personally think that's when this team is at their best.
Right.
Is when they're playing the best. So quite frankly, a matchup against the Cleveland Cavaliers scares me a little bit because there isn't a Giannis Antetokounmpo lined up on the other end. And I know to a majority of the people are going to say that sounds crazy. That makes no sense. I'd rather not see Giannis. However, I think Giannis being matched up on that side motivates Boston to play their best brand of basketball. And when Boston plays their best brand of basketball, I think they're unbeatable when they're playing their best. So that's why I would honestly if Cleveland can find, I'd prefer to see Cleveland off the basic stats. But if Cleveland found a way to get past Milwaukee, it would definitely concern me.
So here's the thing, though. People don't understand. You don't want to see Giannis in a potential Eastern Conference Finals a year after you just bounced him. He's out for his vengeance. But if you don't match up well against a team, then that's different. You don't match up against a team 1 through 5, or you don't match up against a team just one player, as in Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's what people fail to look at the matchups. Sometimes, guess what? Sometimes a Cleveland could be a tougher matchup, just like I know playoffs are a whole other level than regular season, but for some reason, the New York Knicks and the Orlando Magic were tough matchups for the Boston Celtics compared to a Milwaukee or a Philadelphia 76ers. You'd think just because Philly and Milwaukee have such a high seeding in the star players, that means, they would automatically be the tougher matchup for the Celtics. Not necessarily, but we'll have to see when that comes down to it. But I think that's going to be a very underrated second round matchup. Everybody's talking about the Boston and the Philly and the Boston and Milwaukee, or the Milwaukee and Philly. Nobody's talking about the Cleveland.
Yeah, I agree. So let's hop into this next one. And I honestly think I know everyone's answer for this series. Celtics Sixers.
5. 5.
Yeah, I knew that, and I know Jack's gonna say 5. I'm gonna go with 6. Because I'm confident against Philly. I think they're a better team this year than the years we've seen them in the playoffs before, and I know we handle them so well. I think the first round, it's a shame too because the first round won't really tell us anything. I think it all comes down to what James Harden we see. If we see a hungry, motivated, locked in James Harden, which we haven't seen in the playoffs in a long, long time, I think this series should go 6 or 7, a competitive 6 or 7 too. However, Boston knows how to beat Philly, and Philly knows that, and Boston knows that, and Boston gets a kick out of it. Horford loves playing Philly. JB, JT, Smart, they love playing the Sixers.
Embiid hates it.
Embiid, I think there's a mental aspect. So I'm gonna roll with season 6 just to cover my ass a little bit in case something out of the ordinary goes wrong. But I love your guys' pick with Celtics in 5. I think I would get a kick out of that. This is how I could see this series going, right? I could see it going Celtics wins game 1 and 2, and then that game 3. Do you remember back in that 2018 year where it's like Philly was winning the entire game? They were winning the entire game. They're up 4 with like 13 seconds, 20 seconds left, and the Celtics score and then get a steal, and Jaylen Brown lays it in for the lead, and then I could just see Boston being up 2-0 in a close game in Philly, and then just Philly just is too in their own heads and too on edge playing Boston. So yeah, I got Boston in 6, but yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add. I kind of just
I
took that.
just think I think Embiid's gonna have his his 50 night.
Let him have 52% of their points. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna do it once, and it's just gonna. And the thing is I already know it's gonna fall on the night where we don't shoot well, and Philly's gonna win that game. But you know what? I mean, it's gonna be the same as usual. It's not gonna be anything different. Philly, I hope they don't get too excited, that city over there, but
I'll tell you what, though, it's going to make me go bald. It's going to make me want to rip my hair out because of how many foul calls Joel Embiid gets. He gets like 18 free throws in the first quarter.
So
it's like, oh, stop fouling him. It's like, oh, shut up. I know, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh, Celtics healthy. I like this. I like this team against anyone. And you know what, Bill Simmons? I don't know if anyone listens to the Bill Simmons podcast, but I was driving down to the Cape this weekend for Easter weekend, and I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast and what he had to say, and he was talking about that Celtics Sixers game, last game of the year, the 4th game where Celtics didn't have Brown or Williams, and he thought it was really interesting. Embiid scored 52 points on 80% field goal shooting. The Celtics played Embiid straight up the whole game. It was one-on-one the entire game. They played super soft coverage. Bill made an interesting point. He almost thought that Boston was like, all right, listen, we have no Brown, we have no Rob, we're a little banged up. We're going to play Philly straight, like normal, regular, not show them anything for this playoff series, right? Like, don't give them anything we got. And when the time comes, then we'll make our defense adjustments. And I think that made a lot of sense. I think Mazzulla was really hesitant to show Philadelphia our defensive sets and our defensive schemes on how we're going to play Embiid. So I thought that was a good point. I agree with that. I think Boston was just okay with playing Joel straight, letting Joel kind of getting what he wanted. I mean, he was getting the easy mid-ranges, the easy layup, which we really never give him. So it was super uncharacteristic of us, and I think that was the plan, was to, if Embiid beats us, so be it, but let him beat us. If that's the case, if he has a great game, awesome. If he has a bad game, we're coming out of here with the win, and he had a great game.
Right.
So that brings us to the conference finals here. Oh wait, no, we haven't done the West yet. Shit. So all right, at West, we got Denver. All right, Phoenix and Denver. I'm going to roll Suns in 6. I like Suns in 6. Jokic gets 2.
Yeah, Suns in 6.
Yeah, I think Jokic grabs 2 of them, and then that'll probably be it. Next one, what did we decide on? The Lakers or the Grizzlies? Memphis,
I was the
right?
only one that said Lakers.
Okay, so
said
we got,
Memphis.
and then we had the Kings. Yeah, we had Memphis versus Sacramento. I'm gonna have to go Memphis in 7.
You know
Memphis.
what?
You know what? If Memphis gets
The
past Golden State,
Sacramento Kings.
no. If Memphis gets past Golden State, I truly believe that
Memphis plays LA.
No. I meant if Sacramento gets past Golden State.
Okay.
That's what I meant. If Sacramento gets past Golden State, they're able to win a couple games on the road. I'm taking Sacramento against Ja Morant.
The conference finals.
This might be their year.
I respect
Who knows
it.
Hey, they might have an Atlanta Hawks type run where it's like, oh my god, like even though they're the 3 seed, like I mean, like there's teams that could beat the Sacramento Kings, but like I think if they beat the Warriors, steal a game or 2 on the road, I think they're hyped up.
You know what? I don't hate it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you guys going with Sacramento. I like that. So let's head out over East again for the Eastern Conference Finals. Bucks versus Celtics. I'm gonna send this over to Justin. Justin, you start us off with this one.
Bucks in 5. No, I'm kidding. So here's the thing. I think, and people are going to think I'm being a homer. I get it. I think Boston in 6. First of all, I don't see how either way this series doesn't go to 6 or 7. But my thing with Boston is I get it. And I said this earlier. I get it. Regular season is not the same. You know, Philly 3-1'd us in the bubble regular season, and then we swept them 4-0. I get it. Mm-hmm. But Boston has handled Milwaukee very, very well through the course of the regular season and the playoffs the last couple of years. Now, Milwaukee, they're going to want their revengeance. Now they have home court advantage. They have a game 7 on their home court. But there is nothing that doesn't tell me Boston can't close out a series on the road against the Milwaukee Bucks. There is not. After what Jason Tatum did in Game 6 last year, after what the bench was able to do forcing overtime against a fully healthy Milwaukee Bucks on their home court, and then a 41-point win that the national media gave every single excuse and gave absolutely zero credit to the Boston Celtics. You don't go and lose by 40. I think Boston goes in. I think they win in 6. And I think they get back to the NBA Finals. And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to deny how great Giannis is. Giannis is one of my favorite players. Obviously, don't hate to play against him, but I mean, let's be honest. He's one of the greatest players in the game today. Easily the most dominant player. I'm saying this since Shaquille O'Neal. But Celtics hold Giannis very, very well. Celtics play Giannis tough. Giannis will tell you, and Giannis even said it after he lost by 41. If we don't show up against this team, if we don't play our toughest, we are going to get our ass kicked. And that's how I see the conference finals going down for the Celtics. Celtics in 6. Jack.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right in the head. I mean, I think the Celtics are this guy Justin, man. But I think the Celtics are I think the Celtics are winning this in 6. I mean, I don't get the whole narrative that the Celtics just can't beat the Bucks. I don't understand it at all. It's
hopefully Middleton plays, or else we'll hear excuses.
Yeah, I know. Again, for a whole other year.
If you ever hear that, just say 2021 semifinals. Who was playing for the Brooklyn Nets?
Literally, but either way, I think with or without Middleton, I mean, maybe if Middleton has that 40 game along with Giannis's 40 game, maybe the Bucks bring it to 7. But I think either way, Celtics win. I'm going with Celtics. I'm agreeing with Justin. Celtics in 6. I mean, we blew them out of the water on Christmas Day. What did we beat them by 25? Yeah. And then we beat them by double that, like you said, on their home court with our bench guys in.
It was a combined 56 points.
Yeah, it was. It's like, and we beat them last year. It's like I'm sick of the narrative from everybody. The Bucks are head and shoulders better than Celtics.
Yeah, I'm going season. So like, here's my thing. Sorry. I want to say 6, but I think I'm gonna go 7.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were going to say
I'm not
5.
gonna say 5, but it's just like if you go back to last year's playoffs, the Celtics didn't lose a game. Like a team didn't beat the Celtics. The Celtics beat themselves. That's really up until even through the finals. I mean, if you go through it and you really watch each game, you're sitting there thinking to yourself, wow, at some point the Celtics should have won this game. At some point. No, I'm not going to say the Celtics are going to go through the playoffs 16-0 this year, because that's unrealistic. You lose games in the playoffs that you probably should have won from time to time. However, last year we were up by 14 with around 5 minutes left to go in Game 5 at home. And
oh my gosh, I lost
we lost
$1,000.
Yeah, you did?
Oh,
Yeah, because I
Justin.
bought tickets last second and they were like 10 rows from the court.
Oh,
Celtics were up
facts. I
15
remember
like the
that.
whole dude. They were up 15 like the whole game until the last 5 minutes, and then they lost
Me and
on a
Ethan
Bobby
were there.
Portis putback.
Wait,
Who
what
was
game?
it?
What game did you buy?
Game 5. when
Oh,
the
so you
Celtics
went to
blew
Game
it.
5? You went to Game 5?
Yes,
And-
yes, I went to
And
Game
me
5.
and Ian were there too, and Ian literally just dipped. He didn't even say bye or nothing. He literally just picked up his shit and just walked away. And so we're like, all right, later, Ian. Like, later.
Yeah, that was the game Bobby Portis had the putback for the win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I
yeah.
mean, like, C's, like, really, I'm telling you, Game 1 against Miami. Celtics were winning big in that first half. They dropped that one. What was it? Game 3 against Miami. They came out and just were so sluggish. Game 6 against Miami at home. Like, that
Yeah.
team was just shooting themselves in the foot, left and right, and left and right. Game 4 in the freaking NBA Finals, up by like 5 points in the fourth quarter in Game 4. They blew it, and they didn't score in the last 5 minutes of that game. Like, the Celtics are significantly better this year. So I'm gonna say 7, but honestly, I think there's a shot the Boston Celtics run through everyone if they're locked in and healthy. I think talent-wise, they're so much better than everyone else. Talent-wise, like I really think the gap is just so marginal. In terms of depth and talent, and we'll see. I'm rolling Celtics, which gives us a Celtics versus we got to do out west. But yeah, that's my take on the Celtics. I think last year they just kept beating themselves. This year, I don't think they're going to do that. So I'm going season 7, but it's like, again, I'm being a little, I'm going with the safety blanket. I could see 6. All right. Let's hammer out this West real quick. We got Suns versus Kings. I'm going to roll with the Suns in 6. Kings little run ends there.
Yeah.
I'd say Suns in 5, maybe 6, but I think Sacramento, here are your flowers. Round of applause. Your run's over, buddy.
Yeah. So that brings us to the finals. Celtics versus Suns. That's where I'm going to stop us.
Celtics would have home court advantage.
That's where
home court advantage.
I'm going to stop us here. We're not talking about it because I don't want to jinx. I don't want to. I'm going to be stereotypical with it. I think that's who our finals is. I don't know who's going to win that matchup. You can infer who you think we're going to pick, but that's our finals matchup: Celtics versus Suns.
Let me say something here. So this is what I want to bring up because I know we're nearing the end of this here. But excuse me, I want to bring up last year the Celtics' inability to close out games in playoffs, closing out Game 4 in the playoffs, chance to go up 3-1 in the NBA Finals, chance to go up 3-2 at home in Boston. I get it; they won Game 6, but a chance to go up 3-2 in Boston, up 15 a majority of the game, up 10 in that fourth quarter. You blew it, lost that. Miami. Game 6. I don't think I've ever been more mad and more frustrated about the Boston Celtics than Game 6 against the Miami Heat. That was the biggest shot in the foot I've ever seen the Celtics. I mean, it was horrible. I wanted to cry. That's how bad
I wasted so much I wasted so much money that night. So.
I was at that game too.
I remember the post-game show to that. I think the first 3 minutes of me was just bashing the Celtics and just how bad of a game that was for the Celtics. This year, it's totally different. The Celtics went through those lows, the lowest of lows, and I feel like this year it's going to pay off. We had Derek White last year. We had Peyton Pritchard. We had Sam Hauser. I think all three of those guys have taken a whole other level, a whole other step. Even throw in Luke Cornett. I get it. He's not going to see the court, but I think he's even better than he was a year ago. Throw him in. Then you
Luke
add
Cornett
pieces,
Finals MVP year?
potentially. And then you add in free agents. Guys, no, he takes this, reaches into the bag. But listen, Blake Griffin, huge addition. I get it. I'm a big Blake guy. Memes aside, Blake Griffin has been absolutely huge. Malcolm Brogdon, we know it. 6th man of the year leader. I think it's undoubtable. I don't think it's a doubt. I'm just trying to pull up the graphic because I think we have a graphic of that. Malcolm Brogdon, 6th man of the year. Finalist for sure. Like, he's in the lead, in my opinion. I think everybody thinks he's in the lead. And then you add Derek White, who is a totally different player than he was a year ago today. I don't understand how the Celtics are all of a sudden like, what was that guy, former NBA player, talking about? He was bashing the Celtic. I don't even know his name.
Oh, was it not Gilbert Arenas?
Oh, it was Gilbert.
Yeah, him. Gilbert Arenas. And he was calling Al Horford an old head, even though he's shooting the best he's ever shot in his 18-year career.
And he was like, he's like the most unathletic shot I ever seen.
He was like, you have a shooting guard in a small forward playing power forward and small forward. I'm like,
yeah,
shit, we're not going to the final. You solved the case, Gilbert.
Right. So like, to me, I think the Celtics are clear-cut the deepest team in the entire NBA. I think the Celtics and what they're able to do, it's going to be if they want to win the finals. It's up to them. Do they want to win? How bad do they want to win? All season long, we've heard how Tatum and Brown care nothing about getting back to the finals and getting over that hump and winning the finals. We heard how excited Malcolm Brogdon's been and how Blake Griffin and Malcolm Brogdon think this is the most professional, the most wanting to win team they've ever been a part of. Okay, we'll show that on the court, whether it's Miami, whether it's Brooklyn, whether it's Toronto, Atlanta, whoever the hell. That doesn't matter. The Celtics beat themselves in a lot of playoff games last year. The Celtics stood in the way. Not the Warriors, not the Bucks, not the Nets, not the Heat. It was the Celtics. They have the ability to fix that this year. It is so hard to get back to the playoffs in the NBA. The playoffs. Nowadays, a friggin' play-in, I guess. But to get back to the championship level is even harder. And I think these guys know what it takes. I think these guys are ready, but they also have to put their money where their mouth is and show it on the court. There's no more dropping games, losing 28-point leads, and we're up 3-1, so we can afford to lose this. No, there's no more of that. If I'm Boston, you keep your foot on the gas pedal, put your money where your mouth is, and you go get that banner 18. It is right there for you if you want to get it. The Western Conference, the 10th seed could come out and be the champion. That's how open the West is. The Eastern Conference, I'm sorry, it's between Boston and Milwaukee. Philadelphia is not in the conversation for me. Cleveland has a better shot at it than Philly, in my opinion. It's right there for Boston. Go get it. Go freaking get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Justin stole the show with that one. He nailed it.
That was...
So listen, C's path to the finals. It starts tonight. And in that Hawks versus that Heat game, guys. Thank you so much for joining in our little playoff preview. We're gonna have a playoff preview podcast that's going out Thursday. In terms of post-game shows, we're rolling every single game. A little change this year from last year, though, and honestly, the regular season. With post-game shows during the regular season, we usually go right after the final buzzer sounds. It's usually like 5-10 minutes after, 20 minutes after. This year, expect this for home games. even if it's not 20, 15, 10 minutes right after the game, it will be like an hour and a half after the game. Once we get back, once we get home, once like stuff like that happens, there will absolutely be a show regardless though for every single damn game.
Right.
And hey man, it's the playoffs. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but the C's are good, the B's are good. It's gonna be 90. It's playoff season. Man, life is good. Marathon Monday, life is good in Beantown, baby. However, guys, thank you so much for watching and joining us in on this live stream, a little playoff special preview. Justin,
pay attention to our Twitter and our Instagram tonight for content, because I'll cover the Atlanta and the Miami game on our social media pages. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And then by, I'd say between 9 and 10, we should know 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We should know who we're playing. 9:30, we should know who we're playing. So check back on our social medias for all the updates. And we're recording the podcast tomorrow. So like you said, Rob, playoff preview podcast coming out Thursday. Boom.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And we'll see you in the